Order, order. Welcome to the first session of evidence for our inquiry on humanitarian access.
It's not only the perpetrators, but it's the organizations that train, prepare, give equipment to, and really promote that culture of security and safety awareness. That should be looked at too. You know, aid workers also go into Ebola areas. If somebody dies of Ebola, you can't just say perpetrator Ebola. You high-risk environments, disease, or war. There's a structure of assessing the risks, managing the risks, and then should it happen, the comprehensive post-incident care.
What sort of steps your organisation took to prepare you, or firstly to sort of assess and analyse the risks, but also to prepare you for those risks?
Now, the verdict was gross negligence. What that meant is picking apart everything that should be in place. There is a high derogation from that. As far as an after-action review, things were quite lacking. The head of security was reviewing this security incident internally. He told me that because they didn't find anyone or anything at fault, there was no need to have an independent review of the incident. The court did find the organization grossly negligent, meaning a heightened disregard for understanding the risks, putting measures in place, and post-incident support. I'm still disappointed that there's no process or structure that compelled the organization to go through an independent review of an incident that 5 people were shot, 1 fatally, 4 were kidnapped, and there was high suspicions of neglect for our safety. I'm actually interested in the sustainability or the continuity of aid work because I'm very proud and insistent that it has to continue, but the way for that to continue is to keep aid workers safer. And that can only happen with independent review. I would say for me to challenge the aid organization, to take them to court, I think was seen quite negatively. And I just mean to draw the curtains back and turn on the lights, what happened, and don't let it be the same people who are involved in the decision making. There could be bias there. Marking your own homework, the grades are higher.
And do you think that the approach to employee safety taken by donors and employers has changed since 2015 when you won your court case?
Hundreds of people have told me that their perspective to risk has changed from the verdict. 2012 was my incident, and I can't recall one person who has told me that my incident has changed the way that the security is managed in the world. Since my incident, there's been about 1,500 other people who've been kidnapped. And I would propose that my court case has had more of an impact than the 1,500 other people who have been kidnapped. These aid worker deaths and kidnappings and injuries, numbers are going up. Is it only the perpetrators, or is there some role of others? Pre-incident. If a treatable injury is not treated, it becomes permanent. If the permanent injury leads down to hopelessness, we do know colleagues, every aid worker knows colleagues who have taken their lives.
As I've said, if you don't look after your staff, you lose them, they leave.
When you can't recruit and replace experienced aid workers, you focus on the treatment and the post-incident care. One thing that I think the government can do is, like the measures of prevention of sexual exploitation and abuse, policies that are in proposals and requirements to report on issues of fraud and corruption, there should also be safeguarding measures required in there. Incidents of your staff, injuries, illnesses, deaths, kidnappings, should be reported, and there should be an area for independent review there. Not just the organization has been able to mark its own homework and giving itself a passing grade.
I'm going to ask you, but whose responsibility is it to ensure that aid workers are protected and aided in recovery when things go wrong?
UK employment is very clear that there's a duty of care to provide a safe workplace, and that workplace needs to be safe physically and psychologically. Nobody has tested that in this country in the way that Steve Dennis tested in his case with
Over the last 20 years, the system to keep aid workers safe, the professionalisation of NGO security has advanced significantly. And then it had another bump after Steve's case, actually, because suddenly that really focused the minds of boards of directors and trustees everywhere.
So I run a service now. It's called Proper Support. We work with people who have fallen through gaps. I build a team of psychotherapists and doctors and often lawyers, because if there's a wall put up between them and proving their injury, it's not fair. I'm trying to be the support that I wish I had.